Well, your old pal J Snippety Snip 4 here. So a little auction update. The auction that I was talking about is called Tampa Machinery Auction. It's off Highway 301 in Tampa, as you guessed it. But you know, I was telling you about this. Matter of fact, I got a picture on my phone. I'll show. I think I might. I'll show you this one that kind of caught my eye the most. This generator, this diesel. Here's a picture. Let's see. Here's a front picture. And here's the other side. Now that was an actually a 22 kilowatt diesel, but it is 3-phase. And essentially what we need for our houses these days is single phase. Now it will do 208 as part, you know, voltage instead of 230 or 240 like we need again at our houses. However, I was looking around at the appliances because I heard online many 240 or 230 volt appliances, whether it's a well pump or your air conditioners or whatever, will say on the tag 208 or 230, 240, which means you can certainly run them on 208. They'll just use more amperage. So I was thinking about that too, but I'm just like, you know, it's kind of big and bulky. And again, like I'm looking over here right now where I've got two car garage, whatever, in this little man cave thing, crypto cave I've got two of my mowers over there, two of those 0 turns. I remember I told you I got the 42 inch. It's a little bit too small for this property. And I'll probably end up selling the thing anyways. But anyways, I got space used over there. Do I really want this big old diesel generator on this trailer, this military trailer? Weighs a freaking few tons, more than likely. You know, massive metal, those things. They're built to last. But do I want that thing sitting in this garage forever, almost never being used? Again, until emergency happens, then I'll pull it out, you know, have to run some cables. They've got the connectors you can get to run it to the house or whatever. But, you know, first of all, it's 3-phase. And it's just, I'm just thinking about this, you know. But I thought to myself, if I can get a decent deal, it'd still be worth getting. Hell, even if to get it, make sure it works properly, everything, you know, because I did fire it up and it looked like everything was fine at the auction. But hell, I could resell the thing, you know, if I, whatever. But bidding started. I was sitting over there watching, you know, and the auctioneer, 7,500, 7,500, 75. No, not even one person makes a motion. 75, 7, 6, 55. Okay, $2,000. All right, here's a bid. 25. Next thing, it gets up to $4,800. The highest bidder, going once, going twice. I'm sorry. It's not sold. There's a minimum of $5,500 needed to get this today. But I will write your name and you know, information down in case the seller wants to deal with you. And I'm thinking, I wouldn't have paid $5,000. I was thinking to myself, like if I could pick that thing up for about $4,000, I might do it. And again, I don't know if I'd even keep the thing. But the more I keep thinking about this stuff, the more I keep finding myself thinking back about, which I'll show you one of these. And this is made by Cummins, you know, like the diesel Cummins. They got the RS20A 20 kilowatt Quiet Connect series home standby generator. You'll see them from Generac, and Briggs & Stratton has one, and Kohler has one, and whatever. But they're, for around this size, they're a little more than $3,900. Of course, I don't think this comes with the transfer switch from the looks of it, so that's probably why it's a little cheaper. Add a transfer switch in there, and there's several $100s right there. But, you know, everyone's telling me, man, stay away from the Generac. Those things fail a lot, this and that. I went to Lowe's and Home Depot, and it was just massive 5-star ratings on those things. I'm like, man, like hundreds of them. Like, man, why is everyone telling me that? So I'm poking around a little bit. Then I go to Consumer Affairs, and there's a whole lot of people complaining about them. And so I'm like, all right, well, I read on a forum, someone was heavily into this stuff, and they're like, oh, get the Cummins. Cummins has a great product. And so anyway, so that's why I was looking at this. And this is, again, I'm kind of leaning back here propane, because they'll do natural gas or propane. Natural gas is even more fuel inefficient than propane. But again, in order of best fuel efficiency is diesel. gasoline, propane, natural gas. And I called to get it. I don't know if I told you guys this the other day. I called one of the local propane places, and basically they'll sell me a tank. I'll get to keep it. They'll come and install it. It will not be buried. It'll be above ground, which I'm okay with, because somewhere where my fencing is, up by the pool, there's actually, matter of fact, the power goes into the house over in that area. And I found a couple spots where I said, oh, I could easily put that tank here. The standby generator, hell, there's a few spots for it too. So I'm thinking that would be a good spot. Now, this is for a 500-gallon propane tank. Now, what they always tell us is we never fill it to 500 gallons because propane expands and contracts. We'll put it about 80% full. So you can be looking at about 400 gallons of actual propane in there. Times $3 and something cents a gallon. Ultimately, she told me to be right around $1,400 to fill it up. However, it's $951 to buy the tank, have them come install it, set it up, run some lines, whatever. That kind of thing. So you're talking $1,400 plus, we'll call it $1,000, $950, $1,000, $2,400. Again, I'll round off $2,500 there. Plus this thing, that's $4,000. So that's $6,500. Now I need someone to, a transfer switch. Let's call it $7,000. And then we have, which I happen to know a real good electrician. I essentially just hire him to probably do the thing. But anyway, so we're around $8,000 at this point. So I'm like questioning right now, how bad does a person really need one of these things? Now, I just did live through just over 4 days, or right at 4 days, I think, of no power, no nothing at this house. Again, we got a well pump septic, so if you don't have power, your well pump ain't running. And I thought for some reason, I don't know why, I guess because I've never really had a house that had a well pump, although in Tennessee, we had a house with a well pump and I never had to look at it. There was no concern there, so I never even looked at the thing. But here, I was thinking maybe it's, single phase 120 volt, typical power, outlet receptacle. But it's a 1 horsepower we have here, 1 horsepower electrical motor for the well pump, which takes 240, which is 2 of the 120 legs, etc. But different legs or whatever. Anyways, typical generator that does 120 ain't gonna run that. You got to have it, capable of 240. Now, plenty of smaller generators, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, whatever watt generators, they will, in fact, run that. But you're not running your whole house. You're not going to be running AC. You could probably run everything you need in your house aside from the AC on, maybe a 6,000, 7,000 watt generator. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure of that. But again, if I'm out for 4 days, I would like some air conditioning, to be quite honest with you. However, I could get by. I've got it. As a matter of fact, it's sitting over here right now. I'll show it to you. One of these little, what they call portable air conditioners. Right there. And that's what I had in this room. And that's what I was talking about. My 2 zero turns, whatever, then that space. I don't want this freaking giant diesel sitting over there collecting dust. But, I want to use that space. Anyways, those things come in handy. Now I've got the window mount for now, kind of rigged in there temporarily because I'm going to ultimately cut the wall behind me, essentially. Over here, I'm not sure yet. Anyways, so I'm just not sure what the hell I should do. It would sure as hell be nice knowing that when a big problem comes like this, I got a freaking standby generator. Yeah, at 50% load, that's a 20 kilowatt unit, so 10 kilowatt, half load, it's going to use 2 gallons roughly of gas, which in this case is propane gas, per hour. So again, you're talking 400 gallons or 200 hours, right? It's half of that, so let's just see. If we did 400 gallons, again, divided by 14 days. Well, first of all, we got to do the math a little different here. Because in other words, I'm thinking 2 weeks would be fantastic. 14 days. Let's be real. I got to be fair. 10 days. 10 days times 24, of course, is 240. So there's 240 hours in 10 days. Again, 240 times 2 is 480, which would mean I would need 480 gallons of propane to last me 10 days, assuming I am steadily using 10 kilowatts, half the load of the 20 kilowatt generator. And believe me, I'd be turning off the upstairs AC. I'd keep the bottom one on, only down, first floor AC on. And, wouldn't be playing with the pool and let's turn the jacuzzi on, no, not happening. But in theory, it probably could if we wanted to. But again, I'd want it to last the most, as long as I could. But, again, I have to sit here and tell myself that is, $8,000 roughly justifiable so that when the power goes out and this thing just kicks on, everything keeps going, everything's good. Because I gotta tell you, I do my videos obviously every day, 2 or 3. Well, these days at least 3. It seems like 3 to 4 sometimes, or more. And I need this building powered up. I need to do my videos. I need to keep up with this stuff. And it's not the only reason, obviously, but it sucked having to go out to my car and do the videos in the morning and all that crap. I'm like, man, that kind of sucked. But more importantly, the family, keeping it on. Me and my wife, the kids stayed at my sister's house and another friend's house for the last couple of days before the power came on. So just me and my wife coming home every night, getting dark at 8 something. Let's go to the movies. We went and saw It, Stephen King, whatever, It. Not because we really wanted to, but because it was the only thing playing at that exact moment. And said, what the hell, we'll go see it. Just to do something so that we could come back and then go to sleep. The next day, we went out and went to dinner. And I was telling the waiters, a black dude, what did he say his name was? Jean-Claude. I remember, yeah, Jean-Claude was his name. And I'm thinking, most all black people know the movie Friday. Chris Tucker, Ice Cube, you have to. So I said, I'm going to have a little fun with this guy. Whatever the bill, my wife and I got, whatever, it was at, not Chili, maybe it was TGI Fridays, I think. And I was like, I'm gonna play with this guy. I was like, it shows the tip should be like, $4. And, because it printed out like what your 18%, whatever tip should be $4 or something like that, four and some change. And I'm like, I'm gonna leave him $6, right off the bat. But I'm like, I'm gonna screw with him. I'm gonna throw a line at him from Friday, and I'm gonna tell him that I'm gonna give you 6. It says I should give you 4. I'm gonna give you 6, but I'm gonna give you a bonus chance to win 10 to get a $10 tip. He goes, all right, what's that? I said, all right, tell me what this line is from. And so of course I pulled the Debo. Yo, Debo, Pop's tripping. You want me to ask you for my bike back? I wouldn't trip. So he's like, okay, do you want the next line or do you just want the movie? I was like, either one. You can give me the movie. He goes, Friday. And I know the line. I was like, bang, you just got $10. $10 instead of 6. He's like, yeah. So, put a big smile on his face. So we started to get up and leave, and I started to write the $10 and sign, tip, sign my name on the check. And I'm thinking Friday, because right in that scene, and right before that line starts, Smokey, whatever, Chris Tucker's rolling the dice, playing craps, whatever they're doing, and he wins. I won. Give me my money. And Debo looks over at him. You what? I lost. So I thought to myself, I was gonna get. The thing said $4. I was gonna give him 6. He won the little movie quiz. I gave him 10. So I was like, hey, Jean-Claude. He's like, so I showed him, 10. I was like, I won. You won. Give you your money. Hand him the receipt. Just for fun, just sometimes I'll do something like that, You're a waiter or you work somewhere, you're used to the same old grind, the same old stuff. You know what your tip's going to be, Throw a freaking bonus. Throw him a freaking bonus every once in a while, And rather than just throw the bonus, have a little fun with it. So, speaking of tipping and stuff, my wife's birthday was recent, and we didn't have time to do it during the week or whatever, so we said, all right, this coming up Saturday, we'll do it. And So we went to a place called the Melting Pot. I'm not sure if you guys know that. Whatever, if they have them where you are. It's basically a fondue place, and then it's like a 4-course meal kind of thing you can do. And then at the end, like just an unbelievable, phenomenal dessert with fruit and stuff to dip it, and marshmallows and these different kinds, and it's just unbelievable. It's expensive, but again, you know, take the wife out, man. And we took the kids too, because only one of our kids has really experienced it before. So we took the other two out, all three of them. And I'm thinking, I'm going to throw, first of all, again, it's an expensive place to eat. It's not something we do all the time. Rare occasion. $140 for the whole family. You know, all 5 of us. So I'm thinking, okay. And I had some cash on me since I went to this auction. I didn't end up getting this thing anyways. So I left the auction. I got all this cash on me, which I'm going to put back in the bank on Monday. But I'm like, well, I'll just pay the bill today with cash. So I had $100 bills. And so it's $140. So I'm like, all right. I'll give her I'll give her 200, and then she can give me some change back, because the tip said it was like, you know, $26 or something, $26, $27. Again, it's written right there. Hey, if you want to leave 18%, it's 26 and some change. And I'm thinking, you know, I always throw more than what it's supposed to be. And I thought for a second, I wonder if I could play a little game with her, you know, this chick. Can I do Friday again? She may not. Who knows? And someone was just telling me, you know, don't. Just leave it. Something was telling me, see what she gives you back for change. Like bill-wise, you know, 20s, 10s, whatever. And I was thinking, honestly, I'll be honest. $26 tip. I thought, oh, I'll leave her like, you know, 40 or something. And then she gives me back, here's your change. She gives me a $50 bill back. Remember, out of 60, that's needed to come back. So, and some change. So basically it was 9 $1 bills, 9 singles, and a 50. I'm thinking, hold on. You know I need to leave you a tip. You know it's at least $26 that I gotta leave. I mean, by default. And you're giving me 9 singles and a $50 bill. You're probably trying to play old Snippy and make me just drop the 50 on you and keep the little singles to myself. That kind of bothered me a little bit. I said, that's a good thing I didn't play any games with her. And I had her win a little bonus, if you will. Because I think she just tried to pull fast on me. However, I got some 20s and a 10 and a 5 in my pocket, in my wallet. So, I gave her like a... What was it? I think like somewhere near 40 bucks or something. Just, again, I like to give a little more when I can. And, but anyways, I was still kind of wrong, wasn't it? You got to drop a 50, hoping that I just leave the 50 as a tip. Trying to play the old snipster. But, anyways. Yeah, I just can't make my mind up on this damn generator stuff. You know? You got these little Hondas, even the bigger Hondas. 3,000-4,000 watts. At the auction, they have a golf cart towing this, like, almost looks like a small concession stand with window flaps that open up on both sides. And that's where they got the loudspeakers. They got everything hooked up to. You know, he's doing the bidding thing. You know, all that crap. So they got this little 2,000 watt Honda, the one people have been telling me about. And I got to hear that thing sitting there running. Let me tell you something. The sucker is, in fact, quiet. Surprisingly quiet. And they say those Hondas will run like forever. So I'm thinking to myself, do I get a 4,000 watt Honda? Because it can probably have 240 volt, you know. I could run the well pump. I could run, again, that little portable AC unit in one of the rooms. We could all sleep in the, you know, in Nicole's room, for example, one of my kids. We could all sleep in there. At least we'll have some AC in that part of the house. I'll tell you, when I came home each and every day, you know, it's a 2-story house, I was blown away by how cool the lower story was. Like, I could have swore it might have been 80, 81, which is not bad at all for no power being on for days, right? And you know, I'm coming home at 5, 6 something o'clock at night, roughly about 6 o'clock at night. That house should be hot. Upstairs was a little warm, I'm not gonna lie, but downstairs I was just shocked. So yeah, I could easily, it was comfortable to stay down there. So again, I could run some things, but then I start thinking about, well, what about, you know, if we're out for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, we got to get laundry done. which means it could be done, but well, you know, the well would have to be powered up while the washer's going. Not a big deal because washer's 120 volts. Got that covered. The 240 volt thing would be going to the well pump, no problem. And we could probably run an AC, again, this little thing, it uses like 535 watts or something. I checked that little deal I just showed you. Not a big deal. You know, so it's like, okay, well, I could make that work. And then when it's time to go in the dryer, I would unplug the well and take that 240 and then power up the dryer. So take a little bit of manual, you know, let me go out there, let me unconnect this, let me plug that in, you know. And you got to have, you know, gallons and gallons and gallons of gasoline that you're going to have to constantly go to the store and make sure you know, you're keeping up with. Because as soon as you start running things like, I was talking, I think I mentioned it, this guy and this girl were walking down our street the other day, real nice, young, a little bit younger than us. And we were talking about it because they were out of power too. And he's like, oh yeah, we got this little small generator we've been using just to keep the fans and some basic stuff on. Well, someone, I guess, let him borrow or whatever, a small window unit, AC unit, which he promptly put in to, you know, keep themselves cool. And he's like, man, as soon as I put that thing on there, you know, we were using such and such gas a day, not that much. And man, when I started using that window unit, boy, we started burning down twice as much gas. Which again, I mean, it's typical with all these things. So again, I'm like just trying to weigh all this stuff. You know, I could spend, honestly, probably a couple grand on a generator or two or whatever. You know, and I know they've got these, like the Hondas or the other ones that are similar. You get this little power strip thing where you can combine them, where they double the output from 2,000 watts to 4,000 watts. However, I guess they're not like 240 volts, so that's not going to count. I need 240 volts. You know, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if I had one of those smaller ones, 2,000 watt, but I had an additional, maybe a 3,500 watt generator that does 240 just for the well pump. And even then, I don't have to, it doesn't run all night. I'll just crank it up temporarily when we need to prime up everything for a minute. Oh, you got to take a shower? No problem. Let's turn that on for a little bit. You know, again, I'm sitting over here saying, having a hard time justifying spending $8,000 on a whole house Cummins. In this case, Cummins. They have other brands, you know, as I said. However, I'm thinking about the weather situation on this planet getting worse. It's not getting better. The earthquake stuff's going up. Natural disasters, period, are going up. We've got 2 more storms again. New storms forming in the Atlantic. Could come into Florida again. And if I don't make a decision here shortly, one way or the other, could you imagine, hey guys, I was stuck on the fence on this propane thing versus the regular generator thing. I didn't do anything. And we're out of power again. We got part 2 coming in and I'm freaking out of power again for 2, 3, 4 days. I don't want to live through that. It sucked. You know, do that again. My wife and everything, it just sucked. So, hell, maybe I should get a couple regular generators, but again, then you gotta start having, you know, a bunch of 5-gallon cast cans filled and ready to go. But again, normally you kind of have upfront notice. You know the thing's coming. Okay, let me go start filling all the cans up. I've got, you know, let's say you end up buying 10 cans. Well, that's 10 times 5 gallons, 50 gallons. And you don't have to do it all at the same time. Take, you know, 4 or 5 and then come back, take 4 or 5 and be done with it. But at least you could get it in advance, have them sitting in your garage. But then again, you know, how much gas are you using in a day running some of this stuff? And the answer is more than 5 gallons. That's for sure. It could be easily 15 gallons a day. Again, depending on what you're trying to power and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know, with all the crypto stuff, even with how they've been smashed recently, it doesn't matter. You know, I've done well. I know a lot of you have done well, and again, it's a whole lot easier to say, oh, well, it's just 8K. I have cryptos will pay for that, yeah. But it's still 8K. That's 8K. I could be putting into some more cryptos. You know, but man, I just don't know what I just don't know what I should do. I'm telling you, I just don't know what I should freaking do. But you know, again, a little diesel, not on a giant trailer thing. Maybe, you know, maybe because they do make some a lot smaller diesels for home use. That might be a way to go too. But again, then I got to start storing diesel fuel, and it's going to burn through diesel fuel, so I've got to get diesel fuel and have to store that stuff and keep the stuff that keeps it good for 2, 3, 4, 5 years in there. Run the thing, of course, periodically, which you'd have to do with these too. But at least with natural gas or propane, ain't no messing with that. This stuff is good as long as, like, forever. It'll sit in those tanks forever. And man, there's just something about, you know, ease of use and easy life that's hard to sometimes say no to. But I see all y'all's emails coming in. Believe me, I'm reading them and checking out what you're telling me about this stuff. And soon, again, I think we're going to close next week. They had to get the inspector back out, which he just did a quick once over on the outside. Yep, it looks fine. There's no damage here. Signed off on that. Done. They already got it back and sent it off. Good deal. So we were set for the 20th originally. Like originally the 20th. And I'm thinking, oh, we could get that done a little quicker. The storm threw everything off. But nonetheless, even though the storm's done now, we're still set for the 20th. And they asked for an additional week just in case, which they signed. Everything's good. The seller agreed, no problem. We'll give you an extra week if you need an extra week to the 27th. I don't think that's going to be the case. Once I can at least get that done, I could put the freaking solar panel stuff up. And again, then at that point, at least my solar stuff, while the sun's out or daylight's out, I'll be able to power a bunch of stuff. So, you know, your water's not working, whatever, that's fine. It's just the middle of the night. You got to go pee or use the bathroom, go ahead. Don't flush it. Just leave it there. As soon as the sun comes out tomorrow morning, everything will come on, you know, for the most part, you know, once the sun comes up a little bit. And then maybe a small standby or some kind of smaller generator. Portable, you know, might make sense. I don't know. I'm just going to have to really think this through. And I don't think any of y'all are going to help me one way or the other. Because this is going to be something that I just decided, okay, I'm going this way or I'm not. You know, when I got to that auction, I was just thinking about it, 308 voltage, it's not 240, although you can modify these freaking generators, the military ones, to go to 240, but then you lose a third of the power, which means this 22 is going to be like 15, 16 kilowatt. You know, but then I could leave it 208, leave it 3-phase, it'll run most of the stuff, but then I got to make sure every single thing in my house that's 240 also says it can handle 208. You know, just... And I got this giant military thing sitting here collecting dust most of the time until it's needed. I gotta drag it out of the garage, but not a big deal. But it's taking up space. It's huge. These little things, these little, you know, standby generators, they're small. Like a chest. You know, like a little old treasure chest. But anyways, yeah, just kind of a little bit off talk. I want to give you guys an update. I didn't even bid on that generator. The other one was a Onan Cummins. 145 original hours on this thing. It was a big boy. It would not, under any circumstances, fit in this garage. It was too tall. 125 kilowatt unit. I didn't even stick around to see what it tried to sell for. Online, they were going for like $18,000. Again, way overkill. It'd probably suck up too much gas just barely running anything for me to even bother with it. But, yeah, anyways, I'm going to come up with a decision one way or the other. I can tell you that much. I just don't know what the hell it's going to be at this point. Take care.